Find 50% to keep the pelvis tucked under. And we're just going to go really simply to the shoulders. Nice big circles. Lift them up to the ears and roll them back. Keep that length at the back of the neck. Holding in a little bit of pelvic floor, a little bit of TVA. You can go nice and slow, so it's breathing in, lift, breathing out, lower. A bit like what we did last week. Adding in a little bit more, just the elbows, kind of circling to the sides of the body. And again, it's breathing in, lift the elbows, breathing out, lower. Again, just squeezing shoulders up to ears as we're doing this. Try not to lose pelvic floor. Centering there, and then we're going to go to a side bend, so reach the hand down to the side of the knee and then over to the other side. Get nice and gentle, quite slow. Breathing out lower, breathing in center. You don't have to be at my pace, so just go with your own breath here. You can go super slow. Just really slow exhale. Down maybe 5-6 seconds. And if you want a little bit more with this, you could take the arms up and over. So it's a bit like the branches of a tree, just swaying in the wind. Again, nice long exhales. If it feels more comfortable, particularly for the lower back, a little bit of softening on the knees. And make sure the pelvis is tucked under. Try not to lean back into this move. If anything, you could dip your chin slightly forwards just to help rebalance. Just 3 more, just your own pace, working with your own breath. Breathing out as the branches go over, as you reach down. Last one. Then a bit of a release and a little easy twist. So just swing the arms around the body. Again, soften the knees. Breathe out as you just look behind you. Shoulders are relaxed. We don't often twist in daily life. It's more of a dancing thing, isn't it? Well, where was I? Oh, I was in Co-op today. And they were playing, I used to play it in Aquafit on a Monday morning, and it was Let's Twist Again, and I was literally just like in the tuna aisle, and I was just going to so go into like a proper little twist, and I thought of Aquafit on a Monday morning. Okay, go to our squats then, feet maybe a little bit wider, check they're parallel, hips back into space, squeeze glutes lift. Think about the length on the lower back and the spine. So almost think about trying to get a nice line from the bum all the way along that spine. So do send your hips back into space. As your arms lift, see if you can get them around your ears, look forwards. And then you can create that line. That's how we strengthen and lengthen the lower back. Adding in, lift the arms up and over. Just touch fingertips. Again, going back to that length in the spine on the squat. You could add in up on the toes just to bring in some balance. It's breathing in, lift. It's breathing out, come down. 3 more. Again, just work with your own breath, your own pace. Try and make sure those knees don't turn in or arches drop. Just going to bring my video down towards the mat. So you're going to go to a low squat. So bring yourself down and go a bit like froggy. So let the feet turn out, let the knees come out, and bring your hands down to the middle. And then we're just going to lift one hand up for a bit of a chest stretch. Now, if that doesn't suit you, you could go halfway. So you're in your squat position, and you'll say the same thing here, just putting your elbows into your knees. And you can push elbow into knee, work again into that twist. So if you're in that low kind of frog pose, when you're lifting up, see if you can get a nice line so that top arm almost is in line with the bottom arm. You can look up or look to the side, but you really get to use your elbows into your knees to work into your twist. Still try and work with that 50% per pelvic floor, TVA. Last one. Then just come into a little pebble shape. So coming low, place your hands on the mat and then uncurl to a forward fold. So if the pebble doesn't suit you, you'd be going from standing to forward fold. So that's the opposite. Otherwise you come down into your pebble, tuck chin into chest, and then slowly uncurl into, it's a bit of a hamstring stretch, isn't it? And then you can go back down into your pebble. And then lifting up. Each time you might extend a little bit further into your hamstring because it's straightening the back of the knee, okay? So you might work into that stretch a little bit more. Again, you might, or you might be doing the standing, coming down. And then lift, slow roll down. So this is a different version of the roll down really, by starting in your pebble. Last one. Then, standing, I'm going to use a little bit of balance. So first of all, just transfer the weight into one foot. Couple of shoulder rolls, shoulders down and back. Just see if you can take 5 scapular sets, squeeze shoulder blades together. Just see if you can hold that balance. Use your big toe as a bit of an anchor, your pelvic floor. Then just place your foot on top of your foot. Your foot on top of your foot. That actually is really tricky on a balance because you're putting everything into this really tiny point. It's almost harder than when you do the closing eyes bit, but it's kind of interesting. Use your pelvic floor. Use your glutes. Now, just see if you can do this for 10 seconds. The mantra for this one for power over the mind is Hakini, which is all the fingers touch, the thumbs touch. So just try and hold. Don't watch me, I'll be all over the place. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. Maybe counting might help. Some of you really nailed that. Some of you are so still. Then release, and then we'll literally go to the other side. So place the foot on top of the foot. Use your toes a little bit, grip with your toes, pelvic floor in, shoulders relaxed. Again, if you like Hakini, it's the Hindu goddess Hakini, this mantra. You can press your fingertips into each other. And again, so if you can count to 10. Well, this side's a bit easier for me. Oh, no. Okay, bit of a shake. Your version of your single leg exercise then. So do 10 on each leg. So whether you're doing a single leg dip on a step, the chair exercise, single leg squat on a chair, the lunge or the deadlift, the single leg deadlift. The other option was the compass. So north, this is testing me now. As a mountain runner, I was supposed to carry a compass. I have no idea how to use it. And then you can go round. Single leg squat, very similar to the step exercise, but obviously you can do this one on the mat. So all of these exercises, you're thinking about controlling what's happening with the knee. We're not letting the knee pronate in. We're engaging the arch underneath the foot. There's engagement with the pelvic floor. There should be a little bit of engagement with the glutes. If you're doing the compass, because obviously there's 3 on each point, then just do 5 on each leg. If you're on the lunges, try not to let the hips drop. So send the hips forwards and up. And they all involve balance as well. If you're on the single leg deadlift, you could add in reaching the arm up as well as you lift up. Just if you want to, that can challenge you a little bit as well. It's a bit like a curtsy, isn't it? The last one on the compass. So just seeing when people are coming back into the room. Done 10 on each side. When you've done that, we're going to go down to downward dog. So you can make your way down there if you want, and we'll all meet down there when everyone comes back in and ready, when they've done their 10. Pedal through if you're a little bit tight on the backs of the legs. Just take your time, super slow. So if you're feeling a little bit tight, just think about bending knees a little bit as well. Try and create some space, that nice straight line from the hands going up towards the hips. Get the arms wrapped around the ears. So the eye gaze looks back towards the knees. So progressions or a little add-in if you want to, and you're getting that nice kind of mountainy shape in your downward dog. And that might mean bending the knees. It's just to bring in a twist. So you can just take one hand, thread it through, touch the outside of the ankle on the other side of the body. So it's just a little thread through, and you can switch that over, thread the hand through, and really work at softening, bending knees to get there. Don't panic, it doesn't have to be straight legs. And you can just breathe out again into that twist. Two more breaths, whether you're just holding downward dog or you're doing your twists. Bring it down through dolphin into front plank. So have one breath in dolphin. Then bring the knees down. Lower the hips so that your body's now parallel with the mat, because we're going to go straight in. Engage pelvic floor, engage TBA. So your options here, hold and just really focus on the core muscles being nice and still, tuck pelvis under, or straightening those legs. Think about being nice long shape here in the spine and the legs if you've got straight legs. So we're not kind of hunched up here, we're not looking like a dolphin or dog. We're really thinking about tucking the pelvis in, pulling in the core, crown of head stays in line with spine. We're just doing about a 30-second hold here. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Lower the knees down. If you need a rest, lower the hips down. Just whilst I show you the next one. Front plank, so salute, and a little leg lift. Front plank, spin to the side, salute, leg lift. You can just keep that constantly moving. Constantly focus on the core as well, so pelvic floor, engage, TBA, engage. Now you can put your legs straight on that one, and then you kind of just use the outside of the foot for your balance. Again, take your time. You can move quite slowly through these. Notice your planks don't end up like dolphins again, so do think about that nice parallel body to the mat. Crown of head stays in line with spine. If that spinning just does feel a bit too much, you can just go back to your standard hold. Knees bent, pull in the core, and breathe. Just one more spin or one more breath. Then either have a 10 seconds rest whilst you watch me on the next one, or go straight in, push in, lift a high plank, and then bring yourself back down to low plank. So strengthening shoulders. You can do that same move with the legs straight, pushing in, lowering down. So if you can do 8 of these, and they are hard, they're not an easy one. When you lift up, again, try and get a nice straight line with the body. And the same thing, we're not in dolphins. We've got that parallel body to the mat. Haven't done these for about a month. I can really feel it on one side. I can barely lift myself up. Once you've done 8 of them, come into all fours position, hands under shoulders and knees under hips. And just take a little bit of a release here. We'll go cat to cow, so look forwards, tuck the toes under, send the chest forwards, put the shoulders back, and then chin into chest. Do your upward cat, tuck the pelvis under, get the stretch on the shoulders, and then you can either flow through or just hold and breathe in one of them. Quite nice first thing in the morning, this one, for mobilising the back, the spine. Bring it to centre, so that's going to be the point between those two with the core engaged as well. So find the pelvic floor, pull in on TVA. So we're going to just go for the standard opposite arm, opposite leg slide. Gently lift up, but go really super slow. Then just drift out to the corners of the mat. So just take it to the side slightly. Then recenter and bring it all back in. So quite simple, but we're going really slow and we're thinking about length. So thinking about the toes pointing behind, the fingers stretching forwards. And then as you go over to the corners, you should really feel that squeeze on the glutes. Crown of head stays in line with spine. Try and breathe out as you edge over to the corners. It's almost 2 breaths. Breathe out as you extend. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out. Go to the corners. Try not to arch in that lower back. Using the core. Keeping it all really super still. Two more. Last little squeezes. Reaching away from the body. Then we're going to release low lunge. So come up into kneeling. Step forwards with one leg. Allow the pelvis to sink down a little bit. Now, you remember lizard where we put both hands in the middle? Well, on this one, opposite hand forwards with the opposite foot. Then the other hand up for a twist. So you've got, if you've got your right foot forward, you've got your left hand down. Then you can just experiment with a bit of a circle, reaching the arm up to the ceiling. Again, we're just working here into the chest, the shoulders. Come back up to the low lunge position, and now think more about your hip flexor stretch. So pull in on pelvic floor, TVA. A couple of little shoulder rolls maybe. Then we'll swap legs. Check your hip width. You know, even you can go a little bit wider. Don't try not to put this on a narrow balance beam. So first of all, just find your lunge stretch, and again, you remember lizard with both hands in the middle. Then this arm goes up towards the ceiling. You put in your twist. So this is when you can really notice if you're tight in your chest. Is you can really see. That's where you need to work on your stretches. So things like just putting in little arm circles like this into some of your holds can just really help start and getting a little bit more space in the chest, where your lungs, where your heart's going to be. Again, just coming back up to that lunge position. A little bit of engagement there with pelvic floor, TVA, perhaps a couple of shoulder rolls. Okay, so from there, come and lie down on your front. Find a Sphinx pose, so elbows underneath your shoulders. And all we're going to do is gently look forwards and just see if we can straighten the arms. So it's a bit of a cobra, but obviously last week we did cobra, and you can hold or you can bring it down. Last week I gave you cobra here, so it's a slightly different version. Engage pelvic floor, and you're going to get an abdominal stretch as you lengthen your arms. Straighten from the elbows. Shoulders down and back. And you look forwards, and then you can bring it down. Try not to collapse when you come down to Sphinx. So shoulders down and back, lift on the chest, engage the core. And then just put in a little bit of extension. Feet are relaxed. Just one more. Then release, bring it all the way down. And we're going to go to interlink the fingers behind. So this is a little bit of shoulder work again. Forehead down, breathing out, squeeze the shoulders together. Look down, lift the shoulders, lift the chest, and then release, bring it down. So breathing out, lift, and breathing in, lower. So it's it's a very subtle back extension. It's very much more shoulder squeeze. As you lower, look to the side, so you get the stretch on your neck, looking to the side. As you lift, look down. Adding in, if you want, then, as you lift, you could lift up the legs as well. So it's like, I can't remember what, a locust, I couldn't remember the word. As you lower, bend the knees and see if you can just touch your heels. Again, shoulders squeeze, look down, lift the legs. As you lower, look to the side. Bit of a quad stretch in there. You can really think about trying to get the fingertips down the legs as you do your lifts. Breathing out lift. Breathing in as you lower. It's called the double leg kick. Last one. Then just whilst we're lying on our fronts, take a moment to quad stretch. So just see if you can hold on to one ankle. You can look to the side, let your shoulders relax. And try and just feel quite heavy. Feel supported by the mat. Allow the hips to sink down. If you've been doing loads of hills or cycling, maybe your quads are a little bit tight. Try not to let any twisting occur in the back or the lower back. So try and keep equal kind of weight on both sides. Equal amount of heaviness on both hips. And then just switch it over. Maybe look to the other side. I tend to stay looking at my screen because I'm watching you guys. But obviously you might want to look to the other side. Let your shoulders relax. Slow down your breathing. Then release now. Come from all of that sort of back extension work into child's pose just for the release before we go onto our side. Perhaps a little wiggle side to side with the hips. If your knees aren't comfortable in child's pose, maybe a puppy dog. And the puppy dog, again, you can be like a tail and you can just wiggle that side to side. So a mantra here for child's pose is to make a diamond. So index fingers touch, thumbs touch, and the rest of the fingers are straight. Press the diamond down into the mat. 5 yogic breaths. So breathe in, expand the belly. Send that up the spine all the way towards the third eye. There's almost 3 parts to that in-breath as well. So you can breathe in at the belly, breathe in a little bit more to the chest. Breathe in even more towards the back of the neck. Okay, just check the time quickly. Yeah, we're good. Come pick a side, grab your loop bands, and we're going to go to clams. So they just go above the knee. If you don't have a loop band, no worries. Same thing, just without the band. See if you can do 20 of these. So as soon as you're in position, you can get started. So you've got heels in line with hips, in line with shoulders. This elbow that's by your head is in line with your bent knees at the front. And you should feel the glute med around the side, the back of the bum. I don't really feel anything today because I went swimming and it was so cold. I got to the pool and they were like, oh, the heaters broke. And I'd driven like half an hour to get there, paid £6.50 for a swim. I was like, no. I still went swimming. It was like Stroud Outdoor Pool, if you remember that. It was like 18 degrees or something. And ever since then, I just haven't been able to feel any of my body. Completely numb. But then they say, all I did, or the whole swim, I think I did about half an hour. And all I kept saying was, this is good for me. This is so good for me. This cold water thing is really good for me. I just said that repeatedly. I'll probably spend about half an hour standing in the shower afterwards as well. Just to warm up. Are you feeling that in glute med now? I am actually now. I'm starting to feel that now. Have you done 20? Yeah. Okay. Release from the band. So that exercise kind of pulls everything, the glute med in and strengthens it. So think this is more about lengthening. So think about lengthening stride, double leg lift. So lift top leg, lift bottom leg, lift rib cage, engage the core, pelvic floor and TVA. Reach arm up and over. Now you could pick a mudra here from last week, perhaps. So thumb interlinks with one of the fingers, if you remember any of these. And then just take a nice big circle. Again, working with the chest and the shoulders. Also balance. 3 one way and then 3 the other. And you can work with your mudras here as well. So keep holding the mudra. And then the other way around. the feet are going to want to drop, so keep pushing, keep lifting the feet up to hip height as much as you can. And the rib cage wants to drop. Keep working on the balance. And round. Then release that down. Remember last week, frog leaping into the pond. So come up to like a mermaid, then top knee just lifts up towards the ceiling. You've got the feet interlinked, so this foot, the foot sits in front of the other foot. Then you've got to find your positioning right, but it's breathing out, lift the hips up, and reach up over for a big side bend. Then come back down, and then reach. So you're going to feel it here down in the side. Breathing out as you extend over. I'm going to try to do 5 of these. Strengthens in the shoulder. Okay, then we're going to do those 3 on the other side. So clams, 20 clams. Then the double leg lift with 6 arm circles. And then 5 side bends. Straight in when you're ready, get yourself all lined up. Do check that you're pulling in pelvic floor and pulling in on that TBA. Sometimes we go on the side and we forget. Maybe even push the hip forwards. Oh, I've got another good story. I was thinking you need a story on a clam. So we had, I bet, maybe I shouldn't say this because it's going to go on YouTube. So we had these guests stay Sunday, and I said, I'm going to go out for a run. You can just keep the key, and then, I'm not going to clean the room till the evening. So if you need to come back, use the toilet, that's fine. And then I came back from my run, like 2 or 3 hours afterwards, whatever, because I drove out there. And they were sat in the dining room, and she was just in a bra, and they were eating their packed lunch. And I didn't know where to look. I walked in, the dog just barked at them, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just didn't know where to look." That made me chuckle. That did. Yeah. They were quite embarrassed, I think. She quickly ran out, and she sort of went, "Oh, we're just eating our sandwiches." And then she ran out and I think she must have gone and got dressed. I said, "Don't worry, I just think the dog might eat your lunch. You carry on." How's that, about 20? Double leg lift then. It's okay, I didn't tell them about my channel. They weren't Pilates people, really. They probably never watched this. Lift top leg, lift bottom leg, lift rib cage. Work with this balance, arm up and over. If you've got a mudra in mind, put one in with your fingers. 3 big circles. For some reason, this side is so much worse for me. Looking forward, so try not to look down at your feet. Try and keep the feet as still as they can be. I know they're going to wobble. Keep coming back to the core. This big stretch and squeeze all the way down the body. Release down, then come up to your mermaid. Step that foot in front. Mermaid turns into a frog. Breathing out, lift the hips, reach the arm up over. See if you can just come to a little bit of a hover, so don't flop when you bring your hips back down. Keep some control. Send the energy from the feet up. It's breathing out. It is a tricky one, this. It takes a couple of attempts to sort of kind of, yeah, get used to this one. Quite strengthening on the wrists as well, obviously. Okay, go and lie onto your backs then. Find neutral spine, so if you need pelvic tilt, I'm just going to check the time. Bend the knees. Feet on the mat, length at the back of the neck. If your chin's lifting up to the ceiling, grab a block or a cushion, put it under your head. Shoulders relaxed. So, arms up towards the ceiling like you're holding an imaginary watermelon. Then opposite knee, opposite hand drops to the side. It's that pelvic stability exercise. And then recenter. Now try not to let the hips tilt down. Work on this imprint, this feeling that you're nice and still in the core. Your lower back imprints down to the floor. Just get a feeling for how that imprint feels, because that's what we're going to use for the 100. So just before we go to that though, straighten one leg. Same amount of imprint, same amount of stillness in the core. Just take a small circle with that leg. Now, if having your hands up is too much to concentrate on, you can bring your arms back down. It's not necessary to have the arms up on that one. This is the one leg circle. Now notice if the spare knee, not doing anything, is spinning as well. See if you can just control that and keep that really still. Then back round the other way. And this leg doesn't need to be up here, because that would mean that the hips are lifted, the lower back's lifted. So do think about it diagonally pointing away, like you're drawing a circle on the wall, not the ceiling. If that helps, because obviously if you're lifting up, you're not really imprinting at that point. Release that leg down, go to the other side. Start with the nice small circles. Like the size of a grapefruit, maybe going to sort of a honeydew melon. No bigger than that really. Unless you feel that you've got loads and loads of control. Then if you can keep that other knee still and you can imprint, you can think about going to hula hoops. Not the crisps, the plastic hoops in the playground. Focus on the spare knee. Other way around. Lots of control. We're all working with that imprint. Okay, come to center, bend the knees. With 5 sets, the 100. If you like to go straight into your progressions, honestly, just go for it. Don't let me stop you. I'm going to start on my beginner's layer. Okay, 4 toe taps, 8 pulses, and an 8-second hold. 4 and 3. Remember that imprint. And 2 and 1. Lift head and shoulders. Pulse the arms. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slide hands to knees. Try and get this lift from the rib cage, not the neck. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. If you want more, tabletops. 4 and 3, 2 and 1, and pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and reach. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Here we go. 4 and 3. Still imprinting that lower back. 2 and 1. Ready to pulse. You could put in a hover. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Teasers if you've got them. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And breathe. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ready to pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Full body stretch. Give everything a squeeze. Scrunch up the fists. Get your shoulders to your ears. Point your toes. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Scrunch at your face. Take a really big deep breath in. As you breathe out, just let go of all those muscles. Just feel really heavy on the ground. You're going to bend the knees, feet on the mat. Just place your fingertips behind your ears, so your elbows are pointing to the sides of the body. Then lift one leg up to tabletop, and then just take an effort of the opposite elbow towards that knee. It's going to be the crisscross. So lift to tabletop, and then draw that elbow to knee. It doesn't need to touch, it might not touch. It's all about effort. We're not pushing on the neck or the head. We're just ever so light touch of the fingertips. Breathing out as you lift, breathing in as you lower. If you want a little bit more, you just tabletop that. You put in your single leg stretch. Try not to go super fast, so just stick with the breathing. Breathing out as you lift, breathing in as you lower. And try and get the elbows all the way down. So it's complete each move, it's not rushing through. Same amount of imprint that you did on the one leg circle and the 100 sets. It's quite a demanding one, the crisscross. You might notice this in your ribcage tomorrow. Keep focusing with pelvic floor and TVA. Just 2 more. Place the feet down, arms up to the ceiling. Breathing out, arms go over the head. Try and keep the chest down. And then breathing in, recenter them. Keep the spine nice and long. Imprint lower back, imprint mid, imprint upper back. Think about a nice long spine as the arms go over. You're not allowing any part of it to lift as the arms go back. Adding in, if you want a bit more on the core, just a little bit of a hug on the knees, and then the double leg stretch. Stretch both legs again, just to the wall in front of you, not to the ceiling. So it's a bit more of a diagonal. Still keeping with that, breathing out, extension, breathing in, come back to center. If you notice your chin lifting up to the ceiling, you might want to get a block revision, but also just make an effort, almost make a double chin. I know no one wants a double chin, but it's quite useful for the length of the back of the neck, and no one's watching. 2 more. I can see Dave's rock tape on his ankle. I lent Dave some rock tape. I'm glad he used it. Arms out to the side, bend the knees. Breathing out, let both knees drop across to one side. Breathing in center, over to the other side. It's that lower back release, it's the chest stretch. Do engage the core though as you transfer across. If you want more, tabletop. Extend out to the corners of the room. You get a little bit of a hamstring stretch. Again, use the core as you transition across. Try and get palms facing up to the ceiling. We've been doing lots of circling with the shoulders, some chest stretch, some twists. So should have created quite a lot of space there. around the chest and the shoulders. Last one. Hamstring stretch then. So if you use your band or you want a door frame, you can. I've just grabbed my long band. Simply because if I go into this stretch, if you just notice what I did there with my head and my shoulders, I totally lose my posture. Whereas with I go with a band or a towel, you can use anything, you know. And if your band's really stretchy and you want more torque, double your band. So it is a bit more like a gym towel or something. And then you can just get that length in the spine. We're not undoing all that stretching, all that posture work. And so it does all focus really around the spine. Push away at the back of the knee. Just go for a really standard 30 seconds. If you feel like super tight, do a little bit of push away, release, breathe out. Just see if you can edge that towards you a little bit more. Shoulders relaxed. Try not to hold the breath. If anyone just came into the Zoom class now, it looks so odd. There's all these legs just, there's just legs going up to us. It looks brilliant. People are like, what is this class about? Release, just put the band to the side. Glute stretch. I can't remember, but I think I did this last week. So place your heel just above your knee. Now you're either pushing this bent knee away or you're grabbing. So you're grabbing underneath, hold through on the hamstring. Try not to come up like this, because again, this is something I used to always do. I used to come up into this stretch. But try to keep that length on the spine and the back of the neck. Again, just about 30 seconds, something like that, just we're holding this glute stretch. So you should feel it kind of in your side here, in your bum. Place that foot down, let that whole situation just tilt over to the side. So the foot that's in the air is going to go down onto the mat. And then you're going to feel a stretch there in the hips. So let everything just twist over, and you've got your chest stretch in here as well. You're holding onto the ankle. Come back up to centre. We'll do those three on the other side. So again, you've got your hamstring stretch, so you can use your band. Double your band over if you want a bit more kind of control than a really loose band, or scarf or towel. Push away at the back of the knee. Try and keep that length in the spine. Go for about 30 seconds. Try not to be we don't want to be lifting up the hips to get into this position. So if you're not getting your leg up to 90 degrees or whatever you aim for, just relax, don't panic. It might just sometimes takes a bit of time. If you've been doing a lot of exercise, biking or running, I probably would get a bit tight in there, or walking. Just try and let go of the idea of getting somewhere that you're not. Right now. Couple of deep breaths. Then the glute stretch. So again, just put that foot across. Try and remember to flex this foot that's on top of just the leg. Flexing the ankle. Then you might be able to thread through, interlink the fingers, lift up this foot. Try and keep that length at the back of the neck. You've always got the option of putting a cushion underneath the head as well. And just holding this stretch. Notice if your hips are square or if they've wiggled or tilted. Do try and keep them square in here. Then place that foot down onto the mat, then let that whole thing just tilt over to the side. Stretch out the arm out to the side so you've got a bit of a chest stretch in there as well. Eye gaze just going up. Should get that nice juicy stretch there in the hips. Bring that all back up to centre. Hug knees into chest. Perhaps see if you can rock up to seated position. We're going to do a rollover. So either C-shape the lower back down to upright. Try not to lift the head, so just keep the eye gaze forwards, chin tucked under. Or hold on to the shins, rock back. Take your roll over, so use those hamstring stretches that we've done. Hold on to your shins, make a bit of an extension. Come back. If you want to add in your teeter balance, place that at the top. And then you're going to bend, holding onto those shins. Bending in the middle. Teasers at the top. Or maybe you're doing the articulation down through the spine, chin to chest, to getting some lump there in the spine. Last one, whichever one you're doing. Okay. If you've got a band or you've got a towel folded over to take time, slow roll down. Again, slow articulation through the spine. Flex the feet. Engage the hamstrings. Feet hip width as well, so try not to put your feet dead set together. Really super slow, vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring it all the way down. Look towards the ceiling. Chin to chest. See if you can bring that back up. Without the band, you can just go really super slow. Coming down. You might want to reach the arms over the head. Try not to let the chest lift. Chin into chest. See if you can come up. That nice upright position. You can always have a little wiggle with the bum at the top just to get yourself upright. Then again, C-shape the spine. Coming down. Bit of a wiggle to get upright. Last one. Wiggle without bands. Then soles of the feet together for a butterfly stretch. Also, we do the foot massage at the same time. So if you need to just find your inner thigh stretch, just relax. So you don't need to be all upright in the spine. I'm just going to let, if I showed you sideways on, I'm just totally relaxed with my spine here. Then just take the foot massage, so little squeezes into the toes. Then just, again, using the thumb for pressure points, go along the inside of the foot to the edge of the foot. And go back up. There's quite a lot of reflexology points there on the just on the very outside, like the very top of the arch of the foot. Then if you can, try and get to the bottom, the bits that's by the floor. Do some little points, you might need to use your fingers. Then long with the thumbs up and down through the arches of the feet. If you ever get quite tight under the arches of the feet, just use a hard kind of dog ball, cricket ball, golf ball's a bit small, tennis ball sort of works, and roll that on the arch. That really helps. And if you have tight calf muscles, that is again a really good way of getting rid of tight calves. just to go to the arches, roll the arches of the feet. Then just squeezing the heels. So if you can, cross your legs. If you need to sit on a block or a cushion, grab one of them. Last move is our spine twist. Palms together, breathing, get tall. Crown head shines to the ceiling, length at the back of the neck. And then breathing out into your twist. Doesn't have to get around that far, just very subtle. You should feel it either side of the spine, just in your own time. If you feel a little bit tight on one side or anything like that, you can just take an extra breath in there. There's no rush. You can twist and then just have a breath. Two more. Coming to center. Namaste.